Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new here, please click on like and subscribe. So today we'll be doing the custom charcuterie board. I've got it drawn out here and I've actually cut it out on a piece of foam. That way I've got a general outline for it. This is kind of what the customer wanted, so a lot of times if I'm doing these by myself, I just do whatever I feel like doing with the wood. This case I'm trying to actually copy something or get close to it. Once I have it laid out here on my board that I chose, I can go ahead and make some general pencil marks. That way I know how wide, how long, how tall. She's got 24 inches total on this board. I'm going to actually make the board itself 24 inches plus the handle. And I'm going to go about 11 inches wide. So I'm basically just measuring 11 inches over here. I've got a live edge on one side. I want to keep my live edge, so I'm actually going to set my table saw up backwards and cut off the non-live edge side 3 inches. That'll leave me the 11 inches for the board that I'm cutting. Once I get that done, I'm going to come back over my board. I'm going to make it a couple more measurements here. I'm going to measure the 24 inches up from the board itself that I want to the handle and figure out what overall size I want the handle to be. Now the bottom side of my board's already got a clean cut on it. I didn't show doing that, but basically make sure you've got a clean cut on both sides of your wood. That way you don't have a rough edge on one side or the other. Once I get that done, again, I've marked where my handle is going to be cut off at. So I got the entire length of my board, take it over to the chop saw and cut off the end of it. I'll go ahead and run my wood through the planer. I do not want to bring this down to my total thickness yet. I want to leave enough room that I can shave off anything that may be marred, scored, any blemishes that I want to get rid of. I just want to get the board nice and clean for right now, and then we can finish it later on. Once I have that done, I want to lay out my handle and kind of draw it out here. Now, I'm not much of a freehander. I got shaky hands as it is, so I try to use templates or circles or something to help me draw this stuff out. But what I want to do is find the center of the board. Since this is going to be a center-handled charcuterie board, find the middle of the board and mark it, which in my case is 5.5 inches since I'm doing an 11-inch board, and that way I know where the center of the handle is going to be at. Next thing I want to do is measure the width of my handle. Now yours, again, you don't have to make your handle down the center if your handle's off to the side, or if you're doing an axe handle, or if you're doing an teardrop shape handle, whatever you're doing. Basically you want to figure the width of your handle. Going down the center is kind of easy. You just basically go 1 inch to the left, 1 inch to the right if you want a 2-inch handle, and draw 2 lines down the center. Again, we're just squaring these shapes off. We're not rounding anything out yet. We're just making squares on the board. Again, I don't have the steadiest hands in the world. You could probably freehand this if you've got a good steady hand. I prefer to use something like this. I've got these circles cut out different sizes just to give me radiuses. Kind of helps me draw out the radius a little bit better, so I get a good angle on what I'm doing. Sometimes you can sink this handle in the center. In this case, I just want to make a straight handle. So I'm just curving this up so I've got the same radius on both sides. I've got a pencil mark going across the back and on the 2 lines going up the side of the handle. So I line that up and just pencil it around. And I'm just rounding the top off here, so what I want to do is take something that's approximately 2 inches in diameter. Again, if you got a 2-inch circle, or if you just want to use a compass, or if you want to hand sketch this, you can. I'm going to lay that in there and just round off the tip. Again, we're not going for perfection yet. I'm just getting a rough shape. We're going to cut this out, and then we'll go back and refine it and make it look better. Now, depending on the equipment you have around your house, you can bandsaw this, you can scroll saw it, you can jigsaw it. If you don't have any of those, you can do this with a skill saw, but you would have to make several cuts in it in a handsaw. But jigsaw works perfectly fine, as long as you got a nice sharp blade and you keep it straight up and down. The last thing you want to do is back cut your edges in and leave yourself more sanding to do in the future. Now once I get the rough shape cut out, I want to make sure my handles are straight across, or my curves are straight across. So I'm checking this, and one side's off just a little bit, so I'm checking the radius on it, and I'm just going to go back in, reclamp it, and cut that radius out so it's pretty much perfect. You're not going to get perfect by hand, at least I'm not, you might, but I'm going to get it pretty darn close to where it's within millimeters of being right. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a corner radius and put it up here. This is for a router, and actually put the radius on here And same thing, I'm going to take my jigsaw and I'm just going to round this off to where it's close. It's not going to be perfect. It's hard to do with a jigsaw. But I'm going to get it close as I can. Then I'm going to go back with my sander. I'm going to use like a 60 or 80 grit. And I'm going to round this handle off to where it should be. After that, over to the router table, I'm just using a slope bit on this and just putting a slight slope on it just to get the rough edge off of there. Since I'm using the live edge, I'm going to make it almost match the live edge. The customer wants a hole in the end of it, so I'm going to take it over the drill press, pop a hole in the end of it real quick here. Again, you can do a teardrop in there, whatever you want. In this case, it's just getting a hole in a string. And then we're back to sanding again. So we're going to sand this down really good. I'm going to sand it with a 120. I'm going to make sure all the grooves and lines are out. I'm going to make sure I got a nice, clean, smooth board to work with. After that rough sanding there, again, that's 120 I sanded it with. I'm going to pop the grain, is what a lot of people like to call it. Basically, we're going to get the board slightly wet, and any small pieces of fiber that aren't sanded well will stick up like little small hairs on the board. So we're just going to get this damp. Again, this is not wet because I want it to dry within 20-30 minutes. I'm just going to wipe everything down, make sure I get all the edges, even the live edge. If anything's sticking up when it's dry, we're going to sand it back down with a 220, or you could do a 320 if you want to. Some people even knock it all the way down and actually polish the board. This tip also gives you a really good idea of what your board's going to look like finished, because up till now, you haven't really seen the finished product. So this gives you a good idea of what it's going to look like once you get it oiled. This also tends to show any blemishes you may have missed just by overlooking it with the sanding. Once the board's dry, you guessed it, more sanding. So we're back to using a 220 here. I usually just use a 220. I don't go 320 unless I'm using unless it's an open pore grain wood like oak or something like that. After that, over to the laser. And once I get it out of the laser, I'm just using rubbing alcohol here. I'm going to try to get all the residue or the resin off around the lettering. Depending on the kind of wood you're using and how hot it gets, sometimes it leaves a little residue around the outside edge. The alcohol just tends to get it off a lot easier. Still going to sand it one more time, so we're going to pop the grain and sand it the last time after this. And this should be the final sanding. Again, pick your final sandpaper, whatever grit you want, 220, 320, whatever you need. You'll notice I don't really hit the live edge very much at all. I leave the live edge alone. This one's pretty cleaned up. At the first, I just took a brush to it and brushed it off. But you don't want to sand it, because if you sand it, you're going to knock off the dark live edge. It's not going to look as good. After that, we want to put it in a coat of oil. Smaller cutting boards, I have a bucket. I usually just soak them in, but since this one's quite large, don't have a bucket big enough for it, so I'm going to hand oil it. I'm going to give it a few hours to soak in. Then I'm going to go back and oil it one more time, and then after that, we'll go back and we'll polish it. And this is pretty much the final step. We're going to take it in here, and we're going to use some Bearded Chef, and we're just going to polish the board up. Basically rub this on. I usually let it sit for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then I take a microfiber towel and just buff off what's left over. Again, if you want to buff these, you can buff them. You can hand buff them. You can use a different type of compound, whatever you want. Just make sure it's food safe. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please click on that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.